Whew. Hello everybody, welcome to another episode on the Third Door channel. My name is Blake Chalfant, and as the title of the video suggests, this is gonna be all about my story. No script, no purpose, no anything, just talking about my life, who I am, my past, and what's in store in my future, in the near future. I just really wanted to personalize it a bit more and let you guys, I guess, get a deeper feel than just when I'm ranting about different things. So my name is Blake Thomas Chalfant. I'm 22 years old and I was born here in North Carolina into a very normal American family. Always financially was super secure and had a had a good at-home life with my parents and my older brother, and grew up playing soccer and just very much a mainstream American childhood. And then around when I was 8 years old, we moved to Tennessee, to a suburb of Nashville, where I spent the next around 12 years until I was about 20-ish. And so I went to a normal elementary school, normal middle school, normal high school, and I'd say I always grew up having friends, and I always played sports. I played a lot of soccer growing up, and was just kind of always felt like I was someone who ran with the crowd, like never was big outlier, and kind of seemed to always fit in, and everything, I think, looking at my life on the outside, everything looked like I had it together, and there wasn't anything really wrong with me. And I went to a very normal kind of school, and just like public school where everyone's doing the normal things of today. And I remember getting my first smartphone when I was in 7th grade, my first iPhone. I feel like my generation was really, everyone hopped on Snapchat when it came out in 6th grade, and so we really were kind of in the midst of all the social media and stuff. I feel like I'm doing a bad job at painting a picture of who I was, but always had friends, and it hasn't been until recently that I've realized really what was going on in those times of really just trying to find myself and really trying to see where I fit in and who are my friends, and just trying to belong to the mainstream tribe. And I always hung out with the quote-unquote cool kids and more of the popular crowd, and definitely enjoyed that, and definitely was definitely actively pursuing that that life of wanting that image for myself and wanting to belong in those kinds of crowds. And because that's what I was taught that I should do growing up, it's what I was striving for. I mean, I got good grades. I never was a misfit in school, and kind of hated my mom for a long time in middle school and high school. But I'm trying to describe my story without just talking about all the shit that I went through and all of my wounding and stuff like that. But I felt just very much like a normal person, like a normal kid. And definitely, pornography was definitely a big area that growing up, I mean, since 5th grade. I mean, I'll probably do a whole different episode on this, but I started watching pornography in 5th grade, and that was definitely fucking huge addiction for a long time. Only been in the past couple of years where I really cleaned that up, but as most kids do growing up. I watched a lot of porn. I was really into partying around 7th grade, 8th grade, starting then. just really into partying and, living for the weekends with my friends. And um, yeah, I didn't really smoke a lot of weed until like my senior year, but just a lot of drinking and yeah, just getting drunk a lot. And um, it's crazy looking back on it. Like when I was in that time, it was just like, that's all I thought about was like, I was just so into that, and really didn't think anything about it. But yeah, just, high school for me was just like a lot of partying and friends and hanging out with people and socializing and a little bit, definitely still trying to get good grades. And there's like this part of me in the back of my head that knows I just need to get good grades because at some point I'm gonna have to think about college. And um, but yeah, looking back on it, it's just like, yeah, everyone was trying to fit in and everyone was trying to please each other and seek validation. And um, it wasn't until around my senior year in high school that I really realized that, like, through a couple different experiences that I'll probably talk about in a different video, I had really big realizations of how self-conscious I was about myself and how constricted I was by trying to seek everyone else's validation. And um, even just like something like walking through the hallways, like how much I was always thinking about like, what are other people seeing when they look at me, and trying to put a certain face on and be cool and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I just really had a lot of realizations of the things that I thought really mattered in life that really didn't matter at all. That I was putting so much of my eggs in that basket. And so it started to shift at that point around my senior year of high school. Things became a little bit different, and that's actually when I started smoking a lot of weed. And it was great because I felt like I belonged to this whole new group of people that all smoked weed together. It was like, that was our friend group, was like, people who got together and smoked weed. And I definitely liked some of these people, but I don't know, it just felt like I had something in common that we could always have as that foundation of the relationship. Yeah, I had a girlfriend throughout high school. I wonder if she'll ever watch this. It was great. It's great. It's like my first love, and definitely came with a lot of, I was just really lost in that period of my life. So I was lost in that relationship too. Not that it was not a good relationship. That was a great relationship, but yeah. Yeah, always into working out. And I hope this isn't boring because it just, me talking about it's like, it just sounds like a really boring, normal kid growing up in the US. But yeah, I kind of just went through I was going through all the motions of being a normal kid today. And it wasn't until, my early 20s, late teens, where I really started to realize how the motions that I was going through were so fucking horrible for me, and how it wasn't making me happy. That's a big thing. So my mom was always kind of spiritual, or I don't know if that word turns off some of you guys, but she was just very, tapped into like really a lot of love, and doing things that really doing really healthy, like just living a really healthy lifestyle, I guess. So she was kind of always that voice in the back of my head that was kind of reinforcing some of these things. But so it wasn't until my senior year in high school, around the time where I had some of these realizations, that I started getting into some meditation and, just figuring out what it looks like to be healthy as me. And I remember one of the big things was this concept of like self-love, of like being able to love yourself. It sounded so unfamiliar, and like I didn't even think that was a thing, and quite honestly thought it was like weird to hear someone talk about that. But I remember I was just like, all right, I'm just gonna like see what this is all about. And I literally went in front of the mirror and was just like asked myself, like, do I love the person I'm looking at? And I remember I stood in the mirror for like 5 minutes, and it was just like, at the end of it, I was like, oh God, I got some work to do, because there was nothing there. Like I wasn't like, no, I absolutely hate this person, but there was no sort of feeling of love towards this person. So I don't know, that was a really big aha moment for me of wanting to start doing things differently. Um, and so that kind of got me into some more of these things and the concept of the present moment, like the reading the book The Power of Now. Just like I remember driving one day and just holy fuck, realizing how much static, how much background noise there's always is in my mind, and just being able to like take a breath and be like, whoa, like there's a moment that's happening that is right now, that my entire life I've been living like just constantly in this loop of the mind of like what's next, or what just happened, or always analyzing, or always just distracting myself with watching videos, or and so yeah, that was kind of the beginning of my path. And then and then I went to University of Tennessee Knoxville, which is like a big football SEC party school, big state school, where a lot of the same kids went from my high school. And my brother went there, and he was in a fraternity. And so yeah, I kind of just, even though I had some of those realizations, I was still into partying and kind of went back into that other world. And so then went there, and you know, because I was going through the motions, and I thought that was next. I thought that's what I was supposed to be doing, you know? It's what I thought would be good for me. And oh my gosh, just like was balls deep in this new world of fraternity life, and you know, kind of doing school, but really just living for the weekend, and more of not just the weekend, weekdays too, but just waiting to get fucked up and go out. And God, I mean, it was exciting at first. It's like children who are given like an iPad, like it's just like fucking awesome. It's this whole new world. And yeah, but it died out very quickly, it felt like, for me. And I got really, really lost in that. Like, oh my gosh, it's this whole new, I think about these environments that we grew up in, middle school, high school, the same way that like a species is in a new environment and they have to do different things to survive, like different hunting strategies or some camouflage. Like there's all these different survivable adaptations to the environment that give them a better chance of surviving. And it feels like humans are the exact same way with middle school, high school, college. You know, we're all in this environment that we're just trying to do good at and survive in and fit in and belong to a tribe, because belonging to a tribe gives us a better chance of surviving. And so, you know, I felt really controlled by that. And so going into college, it's this entire new environment that I'm trying to survive in. And so basically, it's like, what do I need to survive? And then whatever that may be, I'm going to do it. And so this whole new environment, you know, I was building this whole new persona that I wanted to come off as being cool, being the guy who always gets fucked up at the parties and like everyone loves, and you know, all these different things. And I got really into that and really lost, and I thought I did pretty good at that too. And at one point I guess I'm probably not going to say that on camera, but yeah, was really into the drugs there, really lost in that. And as most kids are, unfortunately. But through another really, really eye-opening experience, basically had the realization of how unhappy I was. Like, wow, I'm so not deeply fulfilled with my life, and I feel zero direction in my life, and I am just completely living my life for the next time that I get fucked up and have fun for a night, and then I wake up and I'm miserable again. And anyway, just felt so lost and deeply unhappy. And literally the very next day I had that realization. I applied to transfer schools for college and ended up transferring to Chattanooga the next year. And then okay, well, actually that first year, the second semester, I dropped out of the fraternity and started doing things a lot different, stopped getting fucked up as much, started meditating a lot more, and kind of was starting to like crawl out of that world. And oh, I was deeply uncomfortable because there were so many people who I was scared to, you know, share these things with, share that like this life isn't for me and that I'm not happy. And I kind of just wanted to hide and run away. And so that change period was really tough for me. And then I did go to Chattanooga, where kind of felt like I had a new, because I didn't know a lot of people, so I could reinvent myself. Like, who do I want to be now? So I was definitely more spiritual Blake, but still likes to party, but just not like a fraternity dude kind of thing. And had a girlfriend there, and that was really amazing. And yeah, was still kind of back and forth in that partying though, and was still really unfulfilled with going to school. I mean, so I didn't know what I wanted to do growing up. I thought I wanted to be a businessman, just make a bunch of money, and always knew I could do that really well and probably be good at it and succeed in that. But then like I started realizing like, that doesn't really feel like me. And just realized like, wait a second, I really love talking to people, and I love doing better for myself. And so eventually went into psychology, but was just really uninspired with doing that at the university I was at Chattanooga in my second year. So it was just kind of like, life's pretty good, but I still feel like there's something more. I feel like I'm in a box and I really want to expand, spread my wings in a way. And through an extremely crazy connection and conversation with this woman who lives on the West Coast, which I totally will do a video on later. But it's a really crazy story that some of you probably would not really understand. But anyway, I ended up, after meeting these people one time on Zoom, driving from Tennessee out to Washington, and this is at the beginning of 2021, after I finished my second year of college. So moved to Washington State in Olympia for that summer, and camped in their backyard for a few months. And that kind of began this whole new journey part of my life, where I was like, I don't know if I want to keep going to school, kind of want to drop out, I don't really know, and was just kind of gung-ho on this path of finding happiness, path of finding meaning in life, and doing a lot of my own internal discovery and healing work and finding who I was. And so spent that summer in Olympia, Washington, and kind of, was just doing lots of different things. And I guess without going into details, which I'll do a whole nother video on this, but along my journey of really waking up and kind of having a lot of realizations and a lot of my healing work, really into psychedelic healing work, not taking them at parties, but in a really more intentional kind of way. So I'll do a whole new different video on my life with psychedelics, but anyway. So then I moved to Portland, Oregon the following fall, and I actually went to this online college that was all virtual called CIIS out of San Francisco. Was doing a sped up program on psychology, and spent a few months in Portland, really basically sat in my room and watched cloudy skies all day. Not a great experience there, but and then moved to Santa Cruz, California a few months later, and finished school there and just kind of hung out there. I didn't know anyone there, just moved in with someone I found on Facebook in a really synchronistic kind of way. And so finished school there, and then this past August moved back home, finished school in 3 years, 1 year early, because I wanted to get the fuck out of there and be done. And so now I've been living here, back with my parents since late August, just to kind of ground and start saving money. And so since being here, I've started seeing clients. I do kind of life coaching, counseling, therapeutic work with people, one-on-one, a lot of young men, and that's been amazing. Also been working at just a part-time job in town at this really fun restaurant. I know I said fun. It is actually pretty fun. And just been saving money, and then I launched this YouTube channel, and I'm in the middle of writing a book. I didn't know if I was gonna announce that. But yeah. And so here I am, 22 years old, and that's kind of been my life. And I guess, yeah, kind of in that really big change period of transferring colleges and stuff, kind of did a whole 180-degree turn with my life. And yeah, just really went out on a limb there. But here I am, and so incredibly grateful for all those experiences. And so that's kind of been my life. And now I just feel really inspired to share my life and yeah, continue on this work of self-discovery and self-healing and human potential, because I believe that, you know, there's a ton of people who have a similar story to me and the things that they've gone through and are working with. And so that's kind of really what's feeling really inspiring to me. And so what is happening now, and where am I headed? So it is November 30th today, and on January 4th, I am flying to Brazil and going to the Brazilian Amazon rainforest for 2 weeks in like the heart of the jungle, pretty much, with a group that is going to basically do a cultural immersion with an indigenous tribe in the rainforest there. And so that's going to be amazing and crazy and wild. And yeah, hopefully we'll be able to record some stuff about that. And then after that, just kind of bouncing around South America. I'm going to go to the Sacred Valley of Peru, visit the Andes, and lots of other places that I don't know where I'm going yet. And always really wanted to go to India, and so many other places that I want to go to. I will be doing a darkness retreat while I'm gone, probably for around 2 weeks of sitting in a completely dark room in Guatemala. And so definitely I'm going to be doing a video on that. And just so much unknown of where life's going to be taking me in these next chapters and what's coming, but I'm saying yes to all of it. And pretty much I've just been saving money for this trip, and I'm selling my car before I leave, and kind of putting all my marbles on the table for this next adventure of life, and really want to share that with you guys. And not that I'm doing it for this, but really, you know, really feeling inspired to showing this other way of living, you know, this different path. And that I might be on an extreme polarity of these travels and whatnot, but there's such a huge gray area, and it doesn't have to be such a black and white thing. And that if you want to travel, go travel, you know, or whatever that thing is. If it is a priority for you, you can make it happen. And I'm not discounting where you're at with life, but so not to be too much of that, but I would love to share it with you, if anything, because I think it's going to be entertaining for myself and for you guys. And so yeah, that's kind of where I'm headed. That's what's next for me. And trying to think of anything else I might have left out about who I am. Oh, I love to play music. I have my guitar right here. Maybe I'll end the video with a song. Yeah, just really feeling so inspired by where we are at as a species, as an earth. And even though times feel so challenging right now, just like the potential that's here, and that yes, sometimes it takes change and uncomfortability, but it's so possible. it's so tangible and it's so incredibly worth it. So I think that's a big part of why I'm here, is because that's the journey that I'm feeling called to, and that I want to be able to share with you guys, because I know for many we're just not exposed to these different ways of being. And so hopefully I can be some sort of bridge that you know, it can be a both and, that all we're really doing here is trying to become more of who we are on the inside already. So yeah, I'm just really excited by the potential of who each of us are, and by our species right now, by our planet right now. Just so much potential here for the light at the end of the tunnel. And so hopefully we can join together on that journey of discovering what exactly that light looks like, and yeah, taking those steps there together. So I'm just gonna share really quickly, just because it's awesome, because I love it so much. I love music so much. Music doesn't have to be this egoic thing for performance. Just do it because you love it. So I'll end with this, and thank you so much for tuning into my video and hearing a bit about my story. And I love questions and answering questions, and want to know what you all want to hear about, and anything really. So please join me on this journey. Yeah. You are love, for who you are. In my heart lies the truth of you. You are love, for who you are. In my heart lies the truth of you. Ishkala mabulila, ishkala